Welcome to the Secrets of College Planning. I'm your host, Anthony Uva, and what we're going to be looking into is some insight on the spread offense in football. My guest today is Mark Colyer, and he is the founder of spreadoffense.com. And welcome to the show.
Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. So usually I start my guests where they went to college. So where'd you go to school?
Yeah, so I went to West Virginia University. I was born and raised in Bergen County, New Jersey. And, I decided I wanted to go away to school. And, back then I was a football and baseball player in high school and decided I wanted to play baseball. And my American Legion coach at the time had a connection at West Virginia, and he got me in as a preferred walk-on. So I was invited, to the fall camp, and it was a great experience. 100 guys showed up, so you're one of 100. 18 of them are from last season, and I made it to the last cut, the third cut. I made it through the fall season, and unfortunately didn't make it on the team. But great experience. I wound up staying there at West Virginia. Great school, great university, and that's where I graduated.
So let's go back in time. Let's go into high school. When did you start thinking about going to college? Is it freshman year, senior year? When did this all start?
So, I was always involved in sports as a kid, right, growing up. And, you didn't really think about college until, this was 30 years ago. You didn't think about it till, like, your junior year in high school. It's not like now where kids, their freshman year in high school, they're starting to really think about, the path towards, a college or a university. And, so it started about my junior year. I really enjoyed playing football. I enjoyed playing baseball, obviously. And, and then it starts accelerating more your senior year, and then that's when I kind of knew that it was.
So did you just pick West Virginia and that was it, or were there other schools involved? Or
there were other schools. I was looking at Rutgers University. I was looking at Clemson University at the time. I knew I wanted to go away. One thing I learned playing baseball was, it was okay to kind of get out of the box of living in the neighborhood where you were. So we used to go to a lot of trips. I mean, we used to go to Montreal, Canada every summer, playing a big tournament there, international tournament. We'd go to Pennsylvania, we'd go to Connecticut. So I enjoyed that whole kind of leaving where you grew up. So, hence the reason why I, was interested in going away.
Good. So now you graduate from West Virginia. How do you go from there to becoming the founder of spreadoffense.com?
So that's a great question. Again, growing up, I was a three-sport athlete, but, the two sports I really liked were football and baseball. I always say that baseball was my first love, but football was my passion, and I knew coming out of college that I didn't want to have that last time I put on a helmet, or a uniform in high school be the last time I was involved in the sport of football. It meant too much to me. And I reached out to my old coach at my high school, that I had graduated from 4 years ago. He was still there. It just happened to be that an assistant position was opening up, and I joined the staff in 1993. I mean, 23, 24 years ago.
Wow.
And, I stayed there for about 8.5 years. And, during that process, I became the offensive coordinator, for North Arlington, which was the school, my alma mater at the time that I had played at. And, the kind of advent or the whole evolution of the spread offense kind of started in like the mid-90s, where teams, went from more of a traditional kind of tight formation to more of a kind of spread offense where you were trying to, get your athletes in space and, really try to, create more opportunities for your athletes, not only at the wide receiver, running back position, but at the quarterback position too. So that's kind of where the idea started to really, start to materialize. And then, it was funny, 10 years ago, it's actually 10 years ago in 2007, I had I acquired the domain name spreadoffense.com, and the rest is history. Here we are, 10 years later.
So have you done other coaching to develop the spread offense? Is that what happened as well?
Yeah. So it's funny. So I have a family, and the interesting thing was I never became a teacher. So I was always I worked at a high school as an assistant coach, but I was working in another field. So it became difficult where there's just so many hours in the day. Coaching is a very it takes a lot of your time,
Sure.
Especially if you're dedicated and you want to do right by the kids and the school. So I had taken a little time off from coaching because a new career opportunity had arose, which conflicted with the time schedule, for the high school, and I then got back into it, left it again, got back into it. So I've kind of for the last 23 years been still involved at the high school level, and what spreadoffense.com allowed me to do was kind of stay in the game, even though I wasn't technically in the game as a coach. But it allows me to this day to interact with coaches from all over the country. Matter of fact, all over the world. Wow. At both the website and the social media, opportunities on Facebook and Twitter. So, that's kind of where we are today.
So now the website itself. Tell me a little bit about spreadoffense.com. What's on the website? What do people get attracted to come there? What is it all about?
I think on the surface you got to say, okay, the domain name itself, or what I guess a techie would call the URL, is kind of self-explanatory, right? It's spreadoffense.com. So if you were going to go to, say, creditcards.com, they would have information on, applying for and getting accepted for credit cards. Well, spreadoffense.com is exactly that for football. It's a resource. It's it's a place where coaches can come and learn about not only running the spread offense on the offensive side of the ball, but even defending the spread offense.
Wow.
So, everyone thinks about, well, how do I run it, as my offense? There's a whole other area of coaching that says, well, I'm playing a team that runs the spread offense every play. Can you give me some tips, pointers, some diagrams, some playbooks to help me to defend that? So I offer everything on the site. There's there's videos, there's playbooks, there's diagrams. The big thing over the last 5 years has been the social media. I mean, my Facebook and Twitter pages have over 10,000 followers or likes. So, people from all over the country are, looking at things that I post. And I try to keep it as informative as possible, for the coach. And not just the coach, even players. So, I'm a high school player, and I'm my coach wants me to be a quarterback in the spread offense, or, I'm thinking about maybe moving from the wide receiver position, to the quarterback position. I'm a kind of a dual threat player. You can come to my website and kind of learn about, how the spread offense works and see if that's, the right fit for you.
So is it more tutorials that you give as well as diagrams?
Yeah, I mean, it's online, right? So there's a lot of reading involved, right? So, we may kind of go over, like the quick game, which is like a kind of a short passing game, out of multiple formations, say, in the spread offense. So within that, maybe 4 or 5 diagrams, but, above and below the diagrams are also explanations, like bullet points, like what coaching points you should be coaching. What people that aren't involved with football don't realize is it's really the small things. It's the it's the
minute details.
Yeah, it's the details of the sport that really put you over the edge. I mean, if you think of the Super Bowl last night, right? They say Bill Belichick is like one of the most detailed-oriented coaches, that you'll ever find. I mean, he doesn't leave any rock unturned, and that's to a certain extent what we try to do on the website. And the nice thing is, I'm always there to answer questions. Coaches can send me an email. They contact me via Facebook and Twitter, via the message service. So, it's a nice way for me to stay in the game, without actually coaching right now, and at the same time, help coaches, in a sport that I really feel passionate about.
So now, is it a membership type of environment? Is it anybody can go and just look at it freely? How does that all work?
So there's two options. There's if you go to spreadoffense.com, there's a lot of free content that doesn't cost you anything. You can go on there, you can take a look. You could take a look at the pictures and read about whether it's running the spread offense or defending the spread offense. There's probably well over a dozen different specific topics that are totally free to you that you could access. For the coach who really maybe wants to dive in a little deeper, we do have a paywall service, which is like a member area that you can pay a small, whether it's a monthly fee, a quarterly fee, or if you want to pay 1 year annual fee in advance. And within there, we have about 30 different playbooks that you can download. Again, not only running the spread offense from the offensive side, but defending the spread offense, which are very valuable to coaches. I mean, they can go on the site, they can download them to their computer, or again, with the membership, they're always there for you, so you can log in at any time and access them. There's also some more details around, other kind of what I would say more advanced, aspects of the spread offense. I mean, it's amazing, the evolution of just this one type of offense, the way it's expanded over the last 10, 12 years, it's just endless how much you can really dive into it. So we try to offer as much as we can, and again, be that kind of instant resource via social media. So if I see something on, say, ESPN or CBS that's going on in a game right away, I could talk about it. I could maybe pull a clip of it on the video, and it becomes instant feedback.
Interesting.
For those fans.
Now, is there categories in there? Is it for Pop Warner kids? Is it for high school kids, college kids, NFL people? Do you have a wide variety?
Definitely have a wide variety of people who follow me on social media and stuff like that. But the website does break it up into different sections. Where we do have kind of basic knowledge type areas for, again, the youth football coach, a little more advanced for the high school. College and NFL, I'm not getting any those coaches are at that level for a certain reason.
Yeah.
I think you'll find a handful of them follow me on social media, again, because that's more kind of updated, instant kind of thing. But the website's more for the coach who, it could be the dad that needs to help out his son's team at the, like you said, the youth level or Pop Warner level, and he's going into this like with no idea what's going on. I mean, he's heard the word spread offense, from watching ESPN or watching a game on CBS, but he's going to step on the practice field and really feel like he doesn't know what's going on. So we feel like we offer him a nice resource to at least the basic fundamentals, the formations, very simple run plays, pass plays that will help him be successful.
Now, do you find that a lot of females come on there as well to learn about it, being that maybe their husbands or sons are in the game?
I'll tell you, I think our biggest female base is the mothers. So, it's a mom of a son who's 12 years old. And she may be a single mom, or her husband has no interest in football, or I don't know what the reason. Maybe she loves football just as much as the rest of the family. She'll, maybe buy a playbook for her son. I've gotten questions from mothers, about the sport. My son's interested in playing, and his team runs the spread offense. Can you maybe send me something or guide me in the right path on your website to find the right content? So I think it's more, again, the moms that are really, they're bought in because their son's bought in.
Yeah.
So that's where.
So do you find a lot of majority of the website is the high school kids?
I think high school. I'm not going to say high school kids. I think high school coaches.
High school coaches.
High school coaches. Again, it's I would say 80% of our folks that come to the site are coaching, right? They're passionate about the sport. They want to learn as much as they can. The interesting thing is they send me a lot of stuff too. So it works both ways, right? Because when I started the site 10 years ago, I said to myself, I want it to be more like a share site as opposed to just Mark Colyer, putting his information on there. What good is that? There's a lot of great coaches out there. There's a lot of smart coaches. I mean, I've done Q&A type, content with coaches from college, coaches from high school, asking them certain questions, getting them to think a little more, and it's been successful. So, again, I always thought about it as a shared service. I take it very seriously. I think the spread offense is something that, if you look at the sport of football, it's been a key part of the evolution of the offensive game. Right. If you look at a football field, it's a little over 53 yards wide. I think. I always use this analogy. Imagine a baseball field, and you were only able to hit the ball, from the alleys to the alley. If you couldn't, use the foul lines on both sides, how many great hits are hit down the foul line, right? How many home runs are hit, right down the foul pole? Sure. So I give that correlation to football. I mean, I think the sport used to kind of be played what we call between the hash marks, which is like the middle of the field. And I think with the evolution of the athlete also, bigger, faster, stronger, they need to maximize the field. And I think that's what, the spread offense has done for them.
So now, what do you find as the future of the spread offense? Where do you see spreadoffense.com going?
So I think, it's all about content online. It's all about adding, it's about adding content that people feel is valuable, and will keep them coming, right? I mean, because look, just because I own the name spreadoffense.com doesn't mean there's a lot of other great resources out there that I'm a big fan of that, discuss the spread offense and really put some great content out about it. And I think if you ask anyone online, there's a couple things that's really going to, explode over the next 10 years, when you look at football, for online content. The first thing is video. I mean, everyone wants to see that, rich HD, good quality video, as opposed to looking at a static diagram. I mean, when I started the site, that was really the only option, right? You put a static diagram on there, and you write some great stuff about it, and people were happy. Now people want to see video. They want to be able to pause it. They want to be able to rewind. The other thing I think is a lot of this virtual reality stuff you're seeing. I think over the next 5-6 years, with the sport of football, people are taking their smartphones, they're putting them on their heads, and they're, being able to kind of simulate, what goes on the field, through this virtual reality. So I think, those are two things. I think the video is going to continue to surge, and then mobile too. I mean, people want to be able to access content via their mobile device. I mean, people just don't get on desktops or even laptops as much as they used to.
So it's similar to what the NFL uses, the iPad at the games. They're looking at it right
Absolutely.
there. So will people in high school and at the youth level, you're going to see that kind of stuff where they go right to your site looking at that kind of stuff?
I don't know if they'll go to my site. I think maybe before the game, off season. Again, my site is more of a resource that they that could help them kind of develop their, system, or their philosophy. I think once you get into individual teams, but I'm with you 100%. I think within the next couple years, just as you see on the NFL sidelines with the tablets, you're going to see it at the college level. It's going to trickle down into the high school level. I mean, there's services out there like Huddle, that are, it's unbelievable what they've done for the video exchange portion, of the game of football at the high school level. Yeah. I mean, for years we'd have to get in a car, with a VHS tape, drive 10 miles to the, at some kind of, middle spot with a coach and exchange a tape. Now, you could sit there in your sweats and, once your last game's uploaded, you just shoot it off to the next coach, or you put it into a kind of a, shared environment. And it's there for everyone to watch. And then they're including analytics into that too, where, they're just kind of telling you everything that's going on in the game. I mean, that's where the game's going. It's the analytics part of it. It's the virtual reality. It's the video and the mobile applications.
Do you see analytics coming into your site?
I do. And again, more on a research side. Not for XYZ high school, where we would offer that service. But I think as the spread offense continues to evolve, I'd like to see my site. My goal is that it's the place where coaches, fans, players are going to come to learn more about it. And with any research comes analytics. So it's definitely part of our long-term strategy.
So would you say to high school students to go on the site to get a more understanding of the spread offense? Because right now it's not many people really know about it yet.
I mean, if you were a high school player, I think you can get a lot out of it. I think if you came on the site and you look through the offensive side of it, the defensive side of it, the videos we have up. Again, our Facebook and Twitter page, we have well over 10,000 followers. That's the key area where I really try to keep the content as fresh as possible right now. But definitely valuable for a
So do you see
player.
social media growing in that particular field? Is it going to be more and more as time goes on?
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. I mean, look at our president. He communicates via Twitter. I mean, sure. It's not going anywhere. It's it's part of this new generation. This generation of 12 to 25-year-olds. It's that technology is in their DNA. The Instagram, the Snapchat, it's funny, but services like Twitter and Facebook are a little bit kind of not as hip for them. Yeah. It's more of those previous ones I kind of mentioned there. Yeah. But it's still a place where they can go and access something via their mobile device, and again, it's an old cliche, but football's a game of inches. If you can gain any little edge, by something maybe you see from my site, or even if it just gives, my whole thing is just giving coaches just maybe a new thought process, a new idea. I'm not saying you're going to change your whole system or philosophy on offense or defense, but you may see something to say, hey, you know what? I see how they're doing it here, and maybe we can incorporate that into what we do. It may be, this is vanilla, ours is strawberry, but we could take a little bit of that and put it into ours. Yeah.
Do you see a lot of coaches sharing the information? Can they actually take from your website and share it?
Well, they can they could take a link and email it. We always have kind of email your friend service kind of on the website. I'll tell you where that really kicks in is on Twitter, because you could retweet something. So, there's times I'll put out something like a video clip, that I'll pull from, from TV or the internet, and it'll get retweeted. 50, 60 times. Wow. So that's just coaches kind of really liking what they see. I read something once that a retweet is like one of the ultimate compliments, because it's that person's putting that on their page, right? So, it's their reputation. If they feel like it's good content, they want to share it with their, social group. So,
Good.
yeah.
All right. Well, we're coming to the end of our show.
Okay.
That went fast, huh?
Yeah, sure did.
So usually I ask my guests, what advice do they want to give to the parents out there? Kids are playing in high school or college or whatever, and they're interested in the spread offense. What advice would you like to give them?
Well, I think first of all, if you have a student athlete that wants to play at the next level, I think that's great because, I tell kids that I've coached high school many years, and it's okay to be a great high school player. It's okay just to when you get to 12th grade, say, all right, you know what, I've had enough. I gave it all I had. I was a great player. I respected the game. I represented my school well. That's fine. But you know what? There's also that group of kids, whether it's, we're talking football here, but if it's, even girls, right, with their sports. If you have it, and there's that word, if you have it, if you can play at a high level and you can go on and play at the next level, I think it's great. And all I would say to parents is do your research. There's a lot of great colleges and universities out there. I've met a lot of great coaches, during my years of coaching high school football. But do your research, because at the end of the day, there's a reason why they call it a student athlete. You're a student first, and you want to go somewhere where you're going to get a great education. And you know what? Leverage your athletic ability, because if that can get you into a better school because of what you did at the high school level, go for it.
So thank you for coming. So you've been watching The Secrets of College Planning. I'm your host, Anthony Uva. Until next time.